I feel like I need to say this. For those of you who go to the information center to get that Explore packet, and you open it up expecting to find an Olive Garden gift certificate, just remember, contentment is focusing on what you have, not on what you don't have. What would it take to make you happy? Would the best Apple Gloria make you happy? You know, I'm not talking about really that kind of happiness. That's the kind of happiness that it's great while your stomach's full, but then that goes away. But I'm talking more about the deep, the rooted satisfaction, the happiness that doesn't go away. The kind of happiness that lets you say, yeah, my 3-year-old put my cat in the microwave and it made a big mess, but I'm okay kind of happiness. The happiness that sticks around even when things aren't great. What would it take to make you happy like that? In our upside-down society, a lot of people are under the impression that what really makes us happy is being able to choose what we want to do. There's a television show on the Arts and Entertainment channel called Intervention. I don't know if any of you have ever seen this show. It's a show where families and friends go to their other family members or some of their friends who are in deep, horrible, stuck in addictive behaviors, and they hold an intervention to try to shake them loose to help them get the help that they need. And the other night I was watching it. I guess it makes me feel good to see people who have problems worse than mine. But I was watching it, and this man had a gambling addiction. And his family was saying to him, look, if you will get on the plane tonight and go to this treatment center, then we're going to take care of all of your issues here. We're going to fix things here so that when you come back, you can get a fresh start in life. And this grown man kind of threw a temper tantrum. And he was yelling and screaming, I don't want to go! I don't want to go! And they couldn't understand it. They said, why is it that you don't want to go? And his response was, you're all trying to make me do something that I don't want to do, and I don't want to do what I want to do. Which kind of sounds a little bit like my son when he was 2. But a lot of us are under the impression that if we can just do what we want to do, then we're going to be happy. I was listening to a sermon of my friend Matt Lewis, who's one of the pastors over at the Journey Church just off Honolulu. And he was preaching a couple weeks ago, and he had this great sermon illustration. He went to Meijer, and off the shelves of Meijer, he bought all the different kinds of Cheerios that he could find. And so I was only listening, so I didn't get to see him do this, but it was funny just to listen to because he had several shopping bags lined up across the front. And he was going through each of these shopping bags, pulling out all the different kinds of Cheerios. And I'd really never thought about how many different kinds of Cheerios there were before until I heard him do this. But you've got your regular Cheerios, and you've got your Honey Nut Cheerios, and you've got your apple and raisin Cheerios, and it ended up Cheerio yogurt, Cheerio bars. You have the generic Cheerio, I don't remember what they're called, Fruitios or whatever Meijer's has, the Meijer brand. And on, over 20 different kinds of Cheerios that he pulled out. And the idea is, what's going on? Well, you go to the grocery store anymore, and, you know, it used to be, Mary Ann would say, David, go get some spaghetti sauce. Okay. I go to Meijer. Have you guys looked at the spaghetti sauce? You've got Prego, Ragu, lots of other Italian things that I can't pronounce. You've got meat sauce. You've got sauce with meat. You've got sauce with meat flavoring. I don't know what the difference is, but they're all there. You've got vegetable. You've got mushroom. You've got cheese. You've got flavored with cheese. And it goes on and on and on. Well, what's happened in our society is people have bought into this idea that we need choices. And the more choices we have, the happier we're going to be. The more I can choose what I want to do, the happier I'm going to be. A guy named Barry Schwartz took a look at this myth in a book called The Paradox of Choice. And what he determined scientifically was that the more choices people are given, the unhappier they are. The more choices people are given, the unhappier they are. And the story that we had this morning played out right in front of us kind of demonstrates that. Let's eliminate everything but this first apple Gloria. Had these boys only had this one, had they not seen this one or had to choose, they probably would have been a lot happier. But the reality is that we live in a world where there are a lot of choices. And we do have a lot of options. Especially here in the West, in America, we have tons of opportunity. So how do we live in a world that offers us so many choices and still find contentment? There's one choice that we all have to make, and this is one of the most important choices that you'll ever have to make in your life. And I'm going to have them throw the next slide up to show you. This is maybe the biggest choice you'll make in the course of your life. If we can get that. There it is. You know, when I was growing up, we didn't have computers. I understood computers to be these big, huge things in rooms, and then I remember that one glorious day when my parents brought home our very first computer, the TI-99. I don't know if any of you remember that. No monitor. You had to hook it up to your TV. It was just a keyboard, and it couldn't boot up on its own. And it was nothing like it. It was basically a glorified calculator. And in fact, probably the calculators that we have today were a lot more powerful than that computer. But then computers just kind of exploded. And I remember when I went to college and there was this big, huge push at Cedarville to have a computer in every room. And we were one of the first colleges in America to have a computer in every room. And we thought, whoa, this is so cool. And now I think about the computers we had then. And I tell some of the kids in the youth group about the computer I had in college. And they just kind of look at me like, how did you ever get by with that? Well, now we find ourselves, if you want to buy a computer, what computer do you buy? And to me, they're all the same. A computer's a computer, right? It's got a keyboard, it's got a box, and it's got a screen. And I know there's more technical names for them than those, but that's what I know them as. The keyboard, the box, and the screen. But now we start seeing these commercials with these two guys. If you've seen the commercials, Mr. Mac and Mr. PC, and the PC is good for, boring stuff like spreadsheets and databases, but the Mac, that's the cool thing. And so now we have to make this choice between PC and Mac, but Macintosh, which is the creator of the Apple, they've gone a step further, and they've stepped into a new market now and offered us a new choice. And I'll tell you what, I have discovered in the past week the key to contentment. Dallas, show them what the key to contentment is. Have you guys seen this thing? I don't know if you've seen the commercials. They're like holding it and they turn it and the screen turns and they just use their finger. The iPhones came out about a week and a half ago, and I drove by the AT&T store, and there was actually a line outside the store because they didn't release the phones until 6 o'clock in the evening. There was actually a line of some people had camped overnight so they could get in line to get their iPhone. Now, I didn't get an iPhone. I don't know if you knew this, but you have to be an AT&T wireless customer to even get an iPhone, which I am. So if anybody would want to donate an iPhone just so I could, check it out and see if it's all it's cracked up to be, and then next time I speak, I'll let you know, that would be great. You can just have it delivered to the church. No, but if you've been watching the development of this iPhone thing, it's amazing. The commercials, it's all over the internet, it's on the radio. I mean, just hearing, yeah, you have a cell phone, but you're not going to be happy until you have this cell phone. That's the story that we hear over and over again. And so we come back to this question of, in this culture where everything is advertised to us as, you need this. You need this. If you have this, you'll be happy. How do we find contentment?